At 6:40 a.m. today, Constable Suresh Tomar died in a government hospital in the capital. He was found lying injured in the protest at India Gate on Sunday. Senior cops say he died of injuries while doing his duty to contain hooligans who had hijacked the movement. Doctors say he died of a heart attack due to injuries. The constable's family says he was beaten to death by the public. Perhaps never before on social media has a constable death become such a talking point. Many have expressed sorrow and sympathies, but many others have raised questions whether this is yet another attempt by the government to dampen and kill a genuine movement. Until the post-mortem report comes out, the debate here on social media continues. So on the social network today, we ask, Delhi protests, who killed Constable Suresh Tomar? Before we introduce our guests and the panel, let's listen into what a few people have sent.
The people who were violent, I mean, it's one thing that you're protesting and it's a really good cause, but being violent is not the way, and if anybody's life is being taken, then that is no solution to anything.
नहीं, ये जो भी हुआ है बहुत गलत हुआ है. एक्चुअली ये जो पब्लिक की वजह से ही हुआ है सारा. ये बिल्कुल बहुत ही गलत है ये, और इससे कितने लोगों को परेशानी हमें फेस करनी पड़ रही है.
All right, joining us to discuss that is Suman Nalwa. She's the additional DCP and she's heading the special cell of women and children. We've also got with us Kinshuk, who's a student at JNU. And Kinshuk, if I'm correct, you were actually at the protest on Sunday at India Gate. So, of course, he's a key voice in this story. And also joining us from Mumbai is Harini Kalamur. She's a media professional. She joins us from Mumbai on Skype. Thank you all for joining us. My first question, I want to start with Kinshuk. The question we're asking today is, who killed Constable Tomar?
Well, if you look at a loose glance, it will seem that the mob has killed the Constable Tomar. The point is that if you go beyond it, you will find it, why was the mob so angry? It's because the government is not doing what they're supposed to do. And that's because even if we buy the argument that some hooligans were there who provoked them into violence, so we have to think that, the mob got so easily provoked because they were angry at the government that they're not doing their job. And as simple as that.
Kinshuk is making that larger point, Suman, that, it's the larger story is, of course, not to look at that immediate incident, but why it actually even came down to this situation. So can you really hold the mob responsible?
I would say each and every person in that mob, because when we talk about a mob, we forget about the individual responsibility which each and every person had when that person was present there protesting in an unlawful manner. There were many people, maybe 2% of them turned violent, but what about the 98% of the people who were protesting peacefully? Did they try to stop them? What was their response to that? Being there at that point when there were hooligans who were resorting to such tactics, I would make each and every person responsible for his death.
Okay, so you're saying not just the hooligans, but also every single person who turned a blind eye. Harini, I just want to bring you in on this. You're somebody who's been watching this story play out on the television channels for the last 48 hours, also following the different perspectives that are coming in on social media. What's your take on this story and what Suman and Kinshuk have just pointed out?
I think the fact remains that none of us knows who killed Constable Tomar. Very simply because there are no credible sources of information left. We can't trust the CM because she's not in charge of the police. We can't trust the police because we've seen how the police have behaved. We can't trust the Home Minister because he doesn't know what's going on. And we don't know who's in charge, therefore we don't know who killed him. And that's one of the saddest things of most deaths in India. We don't know who did it.
Right, and of course that only comes out when that answer really only emerges when that post-mortem report comes out. But just really quickly want to introduce this idea of second screen. We know, of course, that most people across the world are now watching television on their mobile devices. So here's a way in which you can actually tell us what we should be asking these guys. Second Screen is an app that you can click on your NDTV apps, and there are a bunch of questions that will come up like the ones that you're looking at on your screens right now. We're seeing the top question right now at the moment trending is, are police unsung heroes or corrupt public officials? We'll put that to the panel in just a bit. But Suman, I just want to take you back to how this entire incident and Constable Tomar now, of course, dying has really, how have we come to this point? Basically, the gang rape happened because of the lack of law and order in the city. Then, of course, we saw lawlessness over the weekend, the police really struggling to control it. Then, of course, now we're seeing the constable losing his life really in that protest. Do you think it's now time for the police commissioner to take responsibility? Because so far we've only been seeing politicians talk. We haven't seen anybody from the police actually come out and take responsibility.
Number one, I would like to respond to the mob turning unruly. When the protest started happening, we were also with the people. Because the protests were happening, as a woman, I felt bad. The incident was, it was not to anybody's liking, be it a police cop, be it a cop, or be it a general citizen. As a woman, I also felt bad. But Suman, we were very soft with the protest.
But Suman,
otherwise, when the protest has to happen.
Suman, the truth is that the second screen top trending question, which says are police officials, are they with the public, or are they corrupt public officials, clearly shows that the public does not believe that the cops are really with them. Kinshuk, do you believe that the cops were with you that day?
Well, it's not about any individual police, but a system. If you see, if you pick up Delhi Police own report, sex crime conviction rates last year was 26.9%.
Yeah.
So basically,
for Delhi, it is more than 40%. That's an all India figure which you are quoting, which is a very high. And if you look at the reasons why the conviction was not there.
The thing is that like everything said and done, if the basically a person committing 4 rapes gets convicted, go to Tihar jail. Tihar jail mein jaake dekho kya haal hai. So, but the point, that's the point. If the police is not going to hold people criminals responsible, then why the common people will have trust in the police?